And I am going to make our friend Laura presenter, and Laura is going to take it away. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes? Okay, thanks, Anne Marie. Um, so happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and thanks for joining us for today's PD Coordinators webinar. We are going to get started with our agenda. We have a handful of announcements that we're going to go over. Anne Marie's going to give us an update on Standards 2.0, and then I believe we have Tracy who's going to give us a TABE update. Y'all can scratch teams off of that agenda. As many times as I looked at this and checked this, I found one mistake, and that's that there are no teams announcements today. And then finally, we will have a handful of PD portal updates. Um, at this time, with announcements, we're going to go ahead and get started with Paula, who is going to talk about some upcoming literacy symposiums.
Thank you, Laura. This is Paula Bauer. This is our complete list now of our Literacy Texas symposiums that will be happening around Texas. Of course, the target audience is the community based organizations and the volunteer programs, but anyone is invited to attend and they're all free. The Literacy Conference will be in August 5th and in Waco, and they're accepting proposals at this time. And if Beth, if you could put the link up for everyone, that would be great. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Paula. And Beth is going to get the link in the chat pod in a second here. I know it was a link that was about a mile long, so we took it and shortened it down into a tiny URL. So keep an eye on the chat pod. That'll be coming through in a second. And next up, we have Glenda, who's going to talk about the Texas DLA Annual Conference.
All right, so just a reminder that the Texas Distance Learning Association Conference is coming up in Galveston on March 25th through the 28th. I don't have a whole lot more to tell you about that. This does deal mostly with adult students. A lot of it is higher ed geared, but it's a great conference if you have people who are specializing in distance learning that may want to attend that. Next slide.
Great. Thanks, Glenda.
Oh, sorry. I thought the next slide was mine too.
No,
Go ahead.
you come back on slide 11. I've got it written down. Next, we've got Tracy. Tracy, were you able to join us today? Let me see.
Hi, everybody. It's Beth again. So Tracy was not able to join us today, so I am going to be Tracy and Beth and Olga and Deb today. So in putting on my Tracy hat, we wanted to announce that we're having a spring training of trainers TOT assessment extravaganza that will be coming up in Tarrant County the week of April 9th. So we're going to try and hit as many assessments as we can. So we're going to have the Texas Style TABE on the 9th, Best Literacy TOT on the 10th, and then on the 11th and 12th, we'll have happening at the same time a Best Plus 2.0 Training of Trainer and a TABE Class E Training of Trainers. So it will be from 9 to 4 each day, and please just save the date. Registration will be coming out soon. And then we wanted to make sure that everybody is aware that we're having an informational webinar this coming Monday from 12 to 1 Central Time on the CASAS assessment. Now, CASAS is an assessment that's been around for a while, but it's going to be new to Texas, available for us to use in our programs July 2019. So we wanted to give you an opportunity to ask as many questions as you have and get as much information as you can about this assessment that you may not be very familiar with. I understand that some of you are closed on Monday because it's a holiday for some of you. We will record the webinar. We will share it out through the program management discussion list and our PD coordinators community of practice so that you can see the recording. And I think what we'd really like to do is probably schedule a second one so we make sure that all the programs have an opportunity to ask their questions. And that's it, Laura. Okay, now I'm Olga. So also coming up next week is a new Workforce Wednesday. It's going to be from 12:30 to 1:30 on Wednesday, February 20th. And Cheryl Smith, who I think is online with us, hi Cheryl, from Howard College, Concho Valley, is going to be talking with us about using Canva, which looks like it could be a really, really interesting marketing tool for our program. So please join us next week and join Cheryl to learn more about it. And then this announcement, because we're doing the informational webinar on CASAS on Monday, we moved our topic for Manager Monday to March, and that's going to be security for students and staff. What does that look like with Tiffany Johnson at Victoria College? So be sure and tune into that one, March 18th from noon to 1. And then just a new session that some of you may be familiar with. I think we rolled this out at Literacy Texas, but Terry Sands has created a 3-hour face-to-face training for us called Beyond Poverty and Trauma, Beginning with Adult Literacy. So this is one that is now available for request. And if you want more information about that, please just contact your PD specialist.
Great. Thank you, Beth. Next, we have Anne Marie, who's going to talk about some upcoming Tech and Tells.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm excited about these upcoming Tech and Tells because we have a brand new presenter to the Tech and Tell series. Some of you may know Mary Springer. She is from the Literacy Council of Tyler, and she is a very good she's a math guru, and she has done some face-to-face trainings for math, but she's going to be presenting on a wonderful website called School Yourself. And basically, School Yourself is a free website that combines the best components of video instruction and one-on-one tutoring, and it provides teachers and students with an interactive math videos that can be used for direct explicit instruction, scaffolded guided practice in the classroom, or for homework. So it's a little different than Khan Academy. It's a little different. I'm excited to know more about it myself, so I'm hoping that there are teachers out there that would like to learn more how to use this resource in class with their teachers, as well as, maybe using it for themselves as well. So registration is coming soon in the PD portal, hopefully by tomorrow or no later than Friday. Part 1 is February 22nd is part 1, and then March 8th is going to be part 2. And remember, the Tech and Tells are always Friday afternoons from 11:30 to 12:30. So I hope you spread the word and we have teachers join us. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Next up, we have Glenda. Glenda, you've got 3 slides this time.
Thanks for the heads up. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we have been talking to you about the survey for ESL instructors. We still don't have quite enough to do the kind of statistics that we want to do to be able to see the PD that we need to create for next year. So what I would really like you to do is to encourage your ESL teachers to go to the online bit.ly link, which is http://bit.ly/AEL, and you can't see there's an _ELL. If they could go there and fill it out, that would be great. If you have teachers that are just not comfortable doing the online survey, they can do the paper survey. And you can email me. It's available in the Literacy Community of Practice, but I'm happy to send you a copy, and they can either mail those back or scan them and send them back. But I do need about 100 more teachers to fill that out. So as many people as you can get to take the survey, we would really appreciate it. I don't know how many of you were able to attend the XPRIZE informational webinar, but World Ed XPRIZE Communities Competition team includes Texas. Now they haven't actually announced what teams are going to be allowed to compete, But what we are trying to do in Texas is whether or not we participate in the community's competition. These are 3 literacy resources that are mobile native, so they are designed for phones. And we want to get the word out to our students about how to use them. But before the competition starts, we want to be a little more specific about that and ask just some students to use the program. So there are 3 apps on the U.S. side that were approved. CELED, which CELED is already approved for proxy hours, so you can use that for distance learning. Learning Upgrade, which will likely be approved for distance learning once they've submitted an application, but we'll have to see how that goes. This one, Learning Upgrade, by the way, is very interesting. It's for both ESL and from GED, ABE, because it has English up through 12th grade and for math. So, and then the next one, People for Words, that probably will not be approved, I'm guessing, because they don't have any way of recording for a teacher record the progress of the students. But they are still great apps to look at. And what we would like programs to do is choose some students to try these apps out and give us some feedback. And I'll be sending those questions out to the DL leads, the questions that we want to kind of think about while we're having students test them out. One of the big questions is, what are the barriers and challenges to using the apps? And that's something that we will want to know before we actually enter the competition if we end up on the competition team. And if you have any questions about the X Prize, then you want to contact me or John Stevenson at TWC for more information. These apps are currently available for Android users, correct. That is not correct. So the X Prize was designed specifically for Android. So the first part of the competition was coming up with the apps, and the instructions for the app developers were that they had to be Android. There is an iOS version of both. Of course, CELED is mostly texting, so obviously that one's okay, but it also has an iOS interface. Learning Upgrade also has an iOS interface. People for Words, I think it's in development. I don't think that one's quite available yet. Great question. Thank you, Sharon. Now, this just came across yesterday, so thank you, Laura, for sneaking this in here at the last minute. But because you are the PD coordinators, I thought this might be something you might want to know about. So ISTE, which is the International Society for Technology and Education, is looking for organizations to participate in a free online PD course on how to integrate technology into your work with adults who are looking to upskill. So this is your IET, workforce development, any kind of student that we have that's looking to get into the workforce. So it's a self-paced course. It's about 1 to 2 hours a week from February 25th to March 29th, and the kickoff is on February 19th. And you can contact jlee@iste.org if you have questions. But I think this is a great opportunity for those of you who are looking how to integrate technology into the skills part of your IETs, and I wanted to make sure you were aware of it. And I think that's it for me, right?
That's it.
Yay!
Thanks for all that great information, Glenda. Up next, we have Beth wearing her Beth hat this time to talk a little bit about Tier 1 trainings.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. So, yes, I wanted to take an opportunity to clarify some questions that we've had about Train PD at TCAL providing Tier 1 training. And there are instances where you as a program do not have local capacity, and Train PD has been able to step in and assist your program in providing the necessary, particularly assessment Tier 1 trainings that your program needs. But I want to clarify what your program lacking capacity means. That means your program does not have anybody on staff that's qualified to train your folks on that assessment, or you don't have the funds locally to pay for a qualified trainer to come in and do that Tier 1 assessment training. So that's a pretty limited scope of when Train PD will come in and assist you with specifically that assessment Tier 1 training. So you as a local program should be trying to build your local capacity to provide those Tier 1 trainings with your own local staff, or you need to be budgeting to pay a Tier 1 trainer to come in, a qualified Tier 1 assessment trainer to come in and train your program. Now, of course, Train PD is always happy to assist you to find a trainer, but when we should be coming in and doing assessment training that's not a TOT is pretty limited. So before we move on, and while we've got Lori on the phone, does anybody have questions about this? You can raise your virtual hand or you can type in the chat pod. So this is just, okay, we've got for all required PD hours are just for assessment training. This is talking about Tier 1 assessment training. And there are other Tier 1 trainings that it's written in your contract that you are supposed to provide. Of course, all the traditional Tier 2 trainings that we do and have provided from Train PD are still available to you at any time. And Robin makes a note that the assessment extravaganza that we're having in April will be an excellent opportunity to help your programs build their capacity. Thank you, Robin. That's a really good point. We're trying to get those TOTs out there so that you can get someone on your staff trained up.
And Beth, Lori has her hand up, but I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
I think it was left over. Yeah, she says no. But
okay.
she does send a message that, especially if a TOT is being offered, your programs should be looking at sending somebody to that TOT and building your capacity. So if you have questions or you need further clarification on this, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. I'd be happy to talk it through with you. Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you. Next, we have Anne Marie. She's got a couple of slides where she's going to talk about the Content Standards 2.0.
Okay, all right. So I want to update everybody on the Content Standards 2.0. And just to review, because we talked about this last month when we talked about content standards, the Content Standards 2.0 or the Standards 2.0 was a by nomination process only, and people were chosen, programs chose a team to attend almost a year-long training. So the first training, the first face-to-face training did take place last week as a pre-conference for TALI, and that was the first one-day face-to-face introductory training for the rollout of Standards 2.0. And there was a pre-webinar before that, and we had over 115 participants attend with almost all of the programs represented. So that was very exciting, and I want to thank everybody and for participation, because I know some of you that are on the call may have actually been there as well. So we're going into the second phase now, or the second component, which is going to be regional training for Standards 2.0. And again, this is a cadre of participants that were nominated. So we're not having new people come to the regional trainings. This is the same core group of 115 participants that are going to be attending the regional trainings. And we will have a pre-webinar before the face-to-face training. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide. And Laura, I may have you go back to that one, but let's go here. So to get ready for the regional training, we had a director's webinar, informational webinar yesterday on the 13th, so that all the directors that nominated their team or their participants to come could hear about what their team learned at the introductory training. So it was a debrief. And the directors will have an opportunity to attend another webinar after the regional trainings. Now, to get ready for the regional trainings that are going to be in April and May, there's going to be a participant webinar on March 29th for the participants, and they will get ready for the regional training. So let's go to the next slide. And all of these trainings will be available to the participants in the PD portal. Now, let's talk about the regional trainings. The regional trainings are all tentative right now because these locations have all not been locked down yet. And we tried to accommodate many different cities. And it's going to be from 8 to 3:30. And you can see the cities are going to be Austin, Dallas, Lubbock, Houston, San Antonio, and Corpus Christi. And during the regional trainings, participants are going to really work inside the Standards 2.0, as well as looking at labor statistics and top jobs for that region. So I just wanted to give you kind of an overview of what's coming with Standards 2.0, and I just want to thank everybody for all the work and the enthusiasm around this project. And one last thing that I do want to mention is that the Standards 2.0 website page is under development on the TCAL website, and when it is available, the electronic version of the Standards 2.0 will be available there, but we are working to fix some accessibility issues right now. So it's not available on the website yet. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Anne Marie. Lots of great information there about the upcoming Standards 2.0 trainings. So at this time, we'll pause and see if anybody has any questions that have come to mind. You can raise your virtual hand or type them in the chat pod. Okay, I don't see anything coming in, so I'm going to move forward. But if y'all think of something, put it in the chat pod and we will absolutely circle back around. The next couple of slides go to Beth on behalf of Tracy. So Beth, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. We just wanted to reiterate one more time for all of you that the TABE 1112 has got revised, shortened testing times that have been approved by the National Reporting System. For those of you that were early adopters of 1112, the times that are going to be listed in your administrator book are probably incorrect. So we just want to make sure that everyone has access to the appropriate times. You can go to the next slide. So this is what the maximum allowable testing times chart looks like. We have posted this in the assessment community of practice. I also just put a direct link to the updated testing times chart in the chat pod. So I just, again, want to make sure that all of you are sharing this information with all of your subs and your programs out there that are doing 1112. Next slide. And then also wanted to let you know, in case you missed it, that we did have Mike Johnson come and do a webinar with us about the TABE 1112, and really an opportunity for the field to ask questions with him. And we have created a Q&A document from that webinar that we have now posted in the assessments community of practice. So if you want to go back and take a look at that document, you can go there and find it. Robin, is there anything you wanted to add that I missed there? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you, Laura.
Yep. All right, and Anne Marie is going to come back for a minute to talk about the accessible material webinars that we have available in the portal.
Yes, thank you, Laura. Just very quickly, everybody, there are 3 accessible material, webinars available in the PD portal, and these are important if you want to understand the requirements around what's called Section 508 accessibility requirements for digital materials for people with disabilities. And when digital materials are posted on an educational website or any type of digital means, they must meet different levels of accessibility, whether it's a website or an electronic document, a PowerPoint, a Word document, a PDF. So this is an overview of how to make a PowerPoint accessible and a Word document accessible, as well as just an overview of why accessibility is important. And these webinars were presented by the Deputy Director of the Southwest ADA Center for Training and Development, Marissa DeMaya. And so it's a wonderful resource, and it's a wonderful center. So I encourage you to, if you have the opportunity to look at these webinars, they are full of information. So thanks, Laura.
Thank you. The next couple of slides are mine for the PD portal. So first off, we have a slide about newly released webinars. Our post-production process has slowed down just a little bit in the last month, just with the holidays in December and then in January kind of gearing up for TALE. So this month we have 2 Workforce Wednesdays that are in the portal as curricula for you guys, strengthening the civics in IETEL civics courses, and then workforce prep for lower level learners. We also have a tech integration coaches meeting from November 30th that is available to everyone. And again, yes, just to reiterate, it is available to everyone in the portal. The content that was covered in it, it might be beneficial for a wider audience than just the tech coaches. This particular webinar covered the concept of curation, so how to find, evaluate, and share digital content with students and colleagues. So again, you can have anyone go into the portal and request that. Next, we have an update on Distance Learning Academy 1. So if you'll recall, last month we talked a little bit about Distance Learning Academy 1. It was undergoing some updates, and we had really hoped to get it rolled out by the end of January. We have hit some snags in the background, just ensuring that it's fully accessible and going to work properly in the portal for everyone. So we just have that delayed right now. If in the meantime you have anyone who needs to take Distance Learning Academy Part 1, go ahead and email us, pdportal@tamu.edu, and we can assign it to their transcript. As we have further updates on this course, we'll let everyone know. The next slide has to do with active user reports. Back in January, I sent out active user reports to all of the PD coordinators. I think in total I contacted 55 different programs. At this point, I'm really happy to say that we have heard back from 80% of the programs. I think I have 15 programs that I'm still waiting to hear from, and I sent those second notices out yesterday. So if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, you might go check your email to see if you have a second notice in there. I'd really love to get these cleaned up and finished up within the next week or two. My second to last slide is about office hours. It's just kind of the standing reminders that we offer office hours for the PD portal every Thursday from 11 to 11:30. This is done through a WebEx room, just like the PD coordinators webinars are held. If you have folks in your office or on your team who would be interested or you think might benefit from attending office hours, have them email us, again, pdportal@tamu.edu. This is really just a great opportunity where we can get on the computer with someone who's a good distance away and share our screen, or they can share their screen, and it gives us an opportunity for just a little bit more of a hands-on learning and teaching opportunity for the portal. All right, and my final slide for now is about the PD portal. So I know there were a couple of y'all out there who attended Katie and I's sessions at TALE last week, so you're already aware of this, but for everyone else, the PD portal is going to have a facelift. Starting July 1st, when you guys log in, there will be a new landing page. The image on the screen is just kind of a teaser of what it will look like. It is a more streamlined, more user-friendly, and intuitive landing page, and it gives more direct access to your transcript, your certificates of completion, looking for and requesting training. We're really excited about it here at TCAL. In the next couple of months, we'll continue to advertise this upcoming change. We will start to release more information about it, some support for what it's going to look like, how-to videos. We don't want to catch anyone off guard with this. So just be on the lookout in the coming months for more information about the new landing page. And it's going to be called the name for this particular page in the portal is called Learner Home. So be on the lookout for more information about Learner Home in the coming months. That was my spiel. I'm going to let y'all digest it a little bit. If you've got questions, put them in the chat pod. But in the meantime, I am going to hand it back over to Beth to talk about a little bit about TCAL.
So thank you, Laura. I sure appreciate that. I just wanted to give you all a little update. Of course, most of you know, or all of you should know, I suppose, that our director, Harriet Smith, managing director, retired at the end of January. And so we are moving forward and wanted to kind of share our restructure a little bit. And so Deborah Hargrove has now taken over as managing director at Train PD, and we look forward to moving forward under her leadership. I will be taking over as Director of Professional Development and assuming a lot of Deb's duties, although it's not going to be exactly the way it was divided before. Krista Mosier, who many of you know, will be Manager of PD Field Services and working with the field team. And then Laura Greer will be Manager of PD Logistics, overseeing not only the portal, but also instructor-led training and all of the pieces that are involved in that. So just a heads up about who's doing what. If you have any questions, feel free to holler at any of us, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have. And then I think we just have a placeholder for any questions about anything we've talked about or haven't talked about. So that's it for me, Laura.
Yep, you're right, Beth. So all we've got left is our questions slide. I see some positive feedback in the chat pod about some of the changes that have been made here at TCAL after Harriet's retirement. I don't see any questions. Oh, Catherine says, I came in late. Can I have access to the slides? Yes, Catherine, we will put this in the PD coordinators community of practice either later this afternoon or tomorrow morning, and you'll receive an email when that's been posted. All right. So on that note, thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We are all set, and you are welcome to go about your day at this point. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the chat pod for us. We'll stick around for a few minutes and leave the room open in case y'all think of anything and have anything to ask us. But happy Valentine's Day. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
or I'm going to close the room. Hi, Laura. I'm going to go ahead and close the room.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Bye.
job.
Thanks. You too.